I have Faku in front of me, guys. Okay. How you doing, guys? Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. We're live. It's May 30th, 8:38 p.m. Thank you so much. Hopefully everyone had a awesome Memorial weekend. We wish you guys the best. Thank you for your service to all the men and women in the armed forces. Thank you for all your sacrifice that you provide us and the freedoms sometimes we may take for granted. But thank you so much for always repping and defending our country. So thank you so much to you guys. Uh, a draw, I would say that we deserve to win. In my opinion, we should have put that game away. A lot of frustration at the end of the game from the players more than anything. Oscar tried to kind of calm him down a little bit. I was there. It's just one of those. The back line of Orlando City had a 9 out of 10 match, in my opinion, and that one mistake, that one, that one mistake, it was a dagger in the heart. Atlanta takes a point out of Orlando. Orlando still can win at home, right? And but people there supported over 20,000 Orlando City fans were at the stands. Kudos to the front office and everyone there that came and supported the boys. And a much better performance of Orlando City. I think with a more clinical nine, maybe we would have gotten more done, in my opinion. I like Facundo on the 10. I like the way the three in the middle were switching around. So that was good to see. So we will discuss that. We'll read all your comments and then we'll dissect what's coming next for the Lions, which is New York Red Bulls. Tough opponent. An opponent that has a new coach that's taking shape. Let's see. We have to keep winning to maintain and go in cruise control to the playoffs. What's up, John? Good evening. How you doing, my friend?
Good, buddy. How are you doing? I had a lovely Memorial weekend. I wasn't actually able to go to the Atlanta game, so I was away at St. Pete. I was at the beach. I actually went to the Rays game
Oh,
before, and then I went to the bar and watched
Tropicana feel.
the Atlanta match. So, yeah, so it was a different weekend for me. And I hated to miss Atlanta and that awesome atmosphere. Watching the game back, I could tell it was an incredible
That
atmosphere.
was
You know,
fantastic.
one of our best attendances of the game. You know, everyone's always up for that Atlanta game, and you could really see it. The commentators were talking about the atmosphere. You could really feel. So I want everybody to know who was there cheering and chanting and doing like they always do. That this game it really showed.
There were a lot of your sock has holes chants. Your sock has
There's a
holes.
lot of FCK ATL chants
Yeah,
as well.
ACKATL. That's right. A
Those are
lot
some
of
of my
that.
favorites.
It's funny because Brad Guzan, he's like looking back to the wall. He's like looking back to the wall. He's like, did he just no? And then you can hear that he looks at the people from the club, and then they're like, guys, refrain from any swearing words, something like that of those sorts. It was hilarious, and then they still did it. I mean, it's part of the folklore of soccer. I mean, it is what it is, right? The other
You're
wall that
never
was
going to stop that. And
you're never gonna
anybody that
stop that. It's
tries is
impossible.
just stop trying. Just
It's
stop.
impossible. So, I mean, the guys play great. We'll dissect, and we have here the video. Thank you to Orlando City Communications. Read all your comments. Um, you know, the best game Kyle Smith has played all season, in my opinion. I'm not definitely. I am not in any way, shape, or form saying that he's played irregularly in the past, but I just feel that today he was on his best, and it showed in the stats. He made it team of the week. Team of the week, Kyle Smith, the accountant, which, in my opinion, he should write a book about his life. I mean, coming from USL, like look at all of that, right? To now playing in the MLS, being a starter in the MLS. I think those four in the back should stay. I think those four in the back should stay for now, right, until we find any other options. But clearly, I think he's definitely performing in a high level. What are your thoughts regarding Kyle, John? And then we'll read your comments next.
I think Kyle had a great game, and I'm not always Kyle's biggest fan. So I think he was someone that you said we signed years ago to be a backup, and sort of year on year he continues to show more and more of what he's capable of. And I think he's always for me a great backup because he's super reliable. But sometimes when he gets these starts, he shows like hey, maybe there's a shout to say that Kyle Smith should be playing more games, right? I think the thing with him is he's not always consistent, and I think usually he is in past seasons, but this season he's had a few rough games, and I've been a little critical of him. But this game, he looked like one of the best right backs in the league, like really. And the way that he was coming inside on his left foot, like that's almost like some Man City Pep Guardiola-esque inside, wing back situation we got going on there. So I don't know if that was Oscar telling him to do that, or he just decided to do that on his own account because he's, driving in on that right foot and he got the use of his left foot. But he was moving into some positions and getting really high up in the field and creating all kinds of problems. Like Gutman didn't know what to do with him. He was struggling for sure. And Kyle Smith just looked like he was a top pedigree, MLS right back this game. So kudos to you, Kyle. Really, really good game.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal game for Kyle Smith. And, the coolest part of it is everyone after the game, not only the fans, but the players, they were like, yo, Kyle, like, like hugging him, like they were giving him praise. Even Cartagena said, I can believe that we, like, in a way, he said, it's kind of weird that our left back or right back score a goal, but I'm happy for Kyle because he deserved it, right? So they all like said that it was one of his best games. I mean, I think everyone can recognize that
he nutmegged Guzan,
yeah.
which I really don't like Brad Guzan, and I hope there's other people out there who dislike Brad Guzan because for years I've despised him, and I just wish he would go away. To be honest, I'd be like, dude, just retire, just you're done, go away now. And so to watch Kyle nutmeg him was like a really nice little moment of like,
yeah, he should do commentary. He should do commentary. And honestly, I mean, Orlando City guys, their form, I know that we come from a tie, but is unbeaten in the last 4 games. We're holding a 103 record over the span. We also have Kyle Smith scoring his first goal of the 2023 campaign, and this is his 4th goal in purple all time. And it was also his 2nd against Atlanta United. So he's becoming the father of Atlanta, right? It's the first Orlando City defender who scores multiple goals on the 5 stripes. So just think about that. Now, Orlando City has seen 4 different goal scorers in this past few games, having Ergen Cara, Smith, Rafael Santos, and Martin Ojeda. Talking about the performance of the team overall, I'm going to go ahead and put, since we already played, I want to play another player that playing at such high level on the wing was this guy right here. And no, it's not Vinny Jr., guys. It's not Vinicius from Real Madrid. It's Ivan Angulo. Just look at this. Just look at that. Too slow, man. Gottman was, look at Maguire, man. Look at that. Look at that. It's like all these South Americans getting to him. And a lot of good chances. That was a good chance from distance. Angulo to me was another player that deserves praise today. Even though SofaScore rates him as a 6.8 because he had a lot of turnovers. I like the 3 right here, right? I mean, those 3 were on point on this game. What are your thoughts regarding the mid? John. I thought the mid was fantastic. I think I love the way how they were switching plays back and forth,
I
generate a lot
think
of goals.
in that first half we were so creative and we were
Yeah,
making a lot of chances. I think, and we'll talk about this overall for the game, but we struggle with that final pass, that final ball into the box, or that final piece of play needed to get the shot off to make the opportunity. And I think Agulo is great at getting you to almost that point, and then he tries to do too much, and that's what we get frustrated about him. But up until he does too much, he's great, right? So he's like you showed there, kill a dribble on the wing. He was
yeah,
making a few
right.
good passes, like he has those moments. I just want him to pick his head up and pick an intelligent pass at the end of that run. So for Magula, I think it's always positive. Like he is able to create problems as an out and out winger. He takes guys on, he can dribble past them. He just needs a little bit more quality. And I would say that for everybody this game, right? That's what we were
Yeah.
lacking was the quality to see the game, to kill the game off. And that applies to Cara, that applies to Torres, that applies to Pereira, that applies to all of them, really. But especially those, four guys and Ojeda as well, who really should one of them step up and put the game away with the second goal. We needed a moment of brilliance. We needed something from like a Kaká or a Nani in the past, and
Yeah.
just to
Wow,
break
man. Don't,
the mold, right? That was it. Like we needed somebody
yeah.
to do something incredible to get that second goal, and it didn't come. And then the rest is very familiar Orlando City history.
Both Robinson and Purata from Atlanta had Kara controlled as well. I may add, on the other side, Orlando City, the boys in purple, super proud on how they pretty much destroyed Atlanta. The reason why Orlando City won this game is because aside of Angulo and Torres and Pereira having a great game and generating a lot of soccer, Kyle Smith having his moment, and Jensen and Carlos being very efficient, the cornerstone of why Orlando should have won this game, it was the two men in the middle, Cartagena and Araujo. They
Like
had, I think, one of the best games.
Almeida, who
Yeah,
like
who was
Arujo
Thiago
shut him
Almada?
up.
Yeah, Araujo shut him up. Cartagena shut him up a bunch of times. Like the dude was non-existent. 93% of his passes were accurate for Cartagena. One of his best games all season. That's the Cartagena that we would like to see in the national team in Peru. That's the Cartagena that made it to the national team. That's the Cartagena that played in Argentina. I mean, and after post credit, yeah, he was still very hopeful. Obviously, people were upset, players in the locker room, because obviously, who wants to get a dagger at the end, right? Especially with such beautiful display of affection, the tifo of 007, and I mean, it was just a magical night for Orlando to put it away. And then Araujo, he had 7 recoveries. He pushed so much Yanumakis and Almada that he recovered the ball 7 times between those two players from Atlanta. And he had, I think, 1 tackle and 1 block for I wrote right here. So a phenomenal
He
game.
he looked like the guy we saw all of last season in this game.
Correct.
And Taylor
Correct.
Twellman could not stop singing his praises on the on the commentary. By the way, he was waxing lyrical about Arujo, and I think you're 100% right. I think this game he looks really good. The only thing I would say about him is he tries to buy that penalty. If you go back and watch it, he deliberately tries to get in front of the guy. And there's another time when he falls down on the ground, he's rolling around. Just we don't need that. Don't bring that part of your game. Don't try and buy stuff. I'm sorry. It's just and it's really frustrating because he didn't do it that much last year. He's starting to do it more and more this year. Like he thinks he understands the refs, and the
Oh
refs
yeah,
aren't they
yeah,
aren't
with the
gonna
flopping. That's
yeah,
cute.
they're not gonna fall for it, dude. So just stop, please.
we
It's
should
not
we
worth
should
it.
definitely. I rather than Tata Martino and another another coach and another striker, I'd rather get Neymar. Give me a good duo with his side Araujo. Maybe I could teach him a thing or two.
I mean,
right?
I
He's
think that's
looking
where
for a
he's
new
got it
team.
from, and I'm trying
He's
to
looking
teach him
for
not to
he's
do that.
he's looking for a new team. I heard, right? Manchester City apparently. Guardiola called them apparently. Hey, yeah, I highly doubt, but whatever. Ryan Jensen, great atmosphere. Guys play great. Just couldn't finish out the 3 points, but overall, great performance. I want to say thank you to Ryan. Ryan is he was filling out. He was filling the shoes of our photographer, the call out for today, and he did a fantastic job. You can check him out at Real Ryan Jensen for all pictures. He took these pictures from the Tifo right here, from Oscar, you know, right there, Faku. I mean, and he's a great guy, a great professional, and phenomenal picture taker. Look at that picture from Kyle. Let's have to make a poster out of it, man. And then he also on the stands was T-Pain. T-Pain. I'm just checking. Before I like he looks just like T-Pain. I'm sorry. Whoever you are, dude, you look just like T-Pain. But Kings of Florida, he took a lot of good pictures. That's Patrick from the ILF. Then the wall being, people went to get their brewskis. It got more packed after that. So, but overall, look at that shot right there. Gottman had a good game too. I think he was one of the best ones in Atlanta. Gottman, in the first half, he had Angulo and everyone in the mid was eating Gutman, but then in the second half he improved tremendously. I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding Atlanta and some of the best players for you?
Well, I mean, they didn't really come alive until the 75th minute.
Yeah.
We didn't see Atlanta until that. And I wrote, like, I was looking through my notes, and we started to let them in the game a little bit. They made some subs. They brought on, your favorite, Lincoln Berry. And they brought on, Miguel Berry. And they brought on Chol and a few other guys who are they're kind of like younger rotation options up front. And they started to cause problems. Santos started to let a few guys in behind. And basically the 75th minute, 80th minute, they started to get those chances. And up until then, we hadn't seen anything from them. So I think for us to keep a team like Atlanta out for that long shows exactly like you said, a really, really strong defensive performance. I think that the issue we have is we need to pull it out for 90. And I think we stopped after about 75, 80, right? We started to think the game was done, and it wasn't.
Well, Orlando kept attacking in this game.
Right. No,
People would say, "Oh, we gotta play beautifully, and we can't park the bus, man."
no, I agree.
But I
I'm
think
glad we didn't park the bus.
I would say that maybe those men, maybe 10 minutes we could have maybe put a little extra, and I think Oscar realizes it, and that's why in post press conference you guys can check it out on our channel. He was a little frustrated. He's like, I've tried it. I've tried it all. I'm trying not to, park the bus, but maybe today was needed to park the bus a couple of minutes early, right? To
Well,
secure the win.
I think there's both sides, right? I think if he
Yeah.
had parked the bus and then they'd scored, everyone would go, "Oh, it's because he
Yeah,
brought
you parked the
defensive subs
bus.
on." So I think he can't win either way on that one. But I truly believe he put it in the players' hands and said, "I'm going to let you keep attacking. I'm going to bring on offensive subs." Like we brought on a bunch of attackers, and we still had some chances in that last 10 minutes. But the whole game opened up, and they had a bunch of chances too after they scored. So I don't agree that he should have gone defensive. I think
No,
if we
I
as a
like the
fan
way.
base are asking him to be more
That's right.
attacking,
That's right.
then that is completely hypercritical,
Yeah,
hypocritical
I
of
agree
us
with you
to
100%.
say, we're upset that he didn't do that. So,
And he
but it's on the
realizes.
players that they didn't get the second goal. That's the issue.
Yeah, it is on the players, and he realized, and he said, this is the way I want the team to play. This is exactly what I think. And he knows that if he applies the way the players play against Atlanta, against tougher competition, is going to be Orlando's not going to disappoint. I feel. I mean, Miles Robinson, he's in the national team. He's a national team talent. Burata has played in top level too. Venezuelan national team, I believe too. So Or no, he played in Mexico. He played in Tigres. So I mean, you're talking about there are players that are known to be rough against attackers. That's why Kara had a tough time scoring. We'll read some more comments. Daniel Phillips, it was a very fun game to be at. I thought the boys played with swagger. If Gus doesn't make that incredible save on Teen Show, we take home the W. Overall, I feel we're seeing improvement. Me too. I agree. Good observation. Joshua Tall, I saw on Twitter that when Galese plays against the Redbulls, he'll play his 100th game with Orlando City. That's right. That's fantastic. Jim D, very entertaining match. A definite step in the right direction. I hope we can keep progressing. Yeah, same here, guys. Very happy about that. I can't imagine playing against Araujo. He looks like the most annoying player, always stuck to your back, always pressing. Can't believe there's no more scuffles. No, it says, I'm really hoping we score at least 2 to 3 goals versus New York Red Bulls, so we'll have a good chance at winning. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean,
uh,
it is possible.
that's what I was saying about Atlanta in the week was we have to be super attacking because they will score a goal. Like if you look back, they score every game. They might lose 3-2, but they score every game. So I knew they were going to get one. And that's why we had to get 2 or 3. And it's a shame because the game plan was there to get 2 or 3. The chances were there to get 2 or 3. We just didn't have the clinical edge needed to kill off that game. And even then, when they scored, there was a few chances that we could have then killed the game off and won it 2-1. And we still didn't do that. And then in the last 5 minutes, they could have won it. Honestly, if you go back and watch, we kind of
Yeah,
fall apart in the last like 2 or 3 minutes. And we got a little lucky. Like Chol gets that chance when
yeah.
he's through on goal that if he's a little bit more quality and he hits that and we lose the game 2-1. So I think great for 75 minutes, but we got to see the full game. You know what I mean? Like and I know we talk about how much we love Pedro, but honestly, for me on this one, I think it's a little bit his fault. If you go back and you watch the corner that they get,
Yeah.
he makes an error on the save at the corner at the near post, and it bounces off of him and goes out. So we concede a corner that we shouldn't really be conceding. And then for me, I think the save. It's hard to say with goalkeepers, right? I know the fundamentals of goalkeepers are get you both hands on it and hold it like a catch, not palm it away. And if you are going to push it away, make sure you push it out of play or not into the danger zone. And that one there was you got down and made the save, but the save goes right back into the mix where there's two or Atlanta players waiting. So on the goalkeeper handbook, they would be like, that's like what
That's
you
an
do
error.
for it is an error, but when you throw one arm out, it's like supposed to be like a last minute thing. And if you go back and look, I think Pedro has time to get both arms down there and just make a regular catch or at least push that ball out of play. I think as much as we talk about how awesome he is, we have to also point out maybe when he makes an error, right? I don't think we
Right.
can
No, I
we can
agree.
say he's always perfect. And if you watch, I think he himself after that goes in, he looks frustrated, like
Yeah, he looks. Yeah,
he knows he shouldn't have pushed that ball back over for the Atlanta player. So
I mean, if he was
I
perfect,
don't
he
want to
would have.
bag on our best player of the season because he has been 100%. But like I said, I think fair is fair. There may have been an error there from Pedro.
Yeah, in my opinion, it was. And this is not the first time that happens to him too. It happened before in the Peruvian team. When he played in Juan Aurich as well in Peru. Now that team is relegated, but he's had a couple of things. He's improved tremendously. I think he thanks Orlando City a lot for his improvement because of the level of coaches they have. Like they have a great goalkeeping coach in Orlando. Pretty much that Cesar Baena helped him out skyrocket his career. And then obviously Oscar Ibanez, which is the goalkeeper coach, former goalkeeper coach for Ricardo Gareca in Peru, former manager. And I think mistakes are going to be made, right? I mean, they're not robots, but overall, I do believe that Galicia has some sort of responsibility out of that play. I do agree with that. I'm glad that you mentioned it too, John. The GBH poster is great. Thank you, Jim D. Give me fire. Jim D. I rewatched that Galese where he goes out of bounds. It took a slight deflection, sending it wider, and he had already started moving in that direction. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
there's nothing
it
to.
is hard, but
Mhm.
I personally think you can't spill that ball if that's me. You know, you got to cushion that. You got to hold it.
I agree. Now, you know, Angulo and Torres. I like Facundo Torres's game today. He looked more like the old Facundo Torres from last year. Uh, One thing though is Facu, shoot the ball, man. Just you have a nice. Yeah, yeah, he did this play. It looked like a Peñarol play, in my opinion. It was him and Angulo trying to find that link up play, and it looked really great. And it threw Atlanta off its tracks. Now, do you want to see Torres? I want him to start scoring more goals. That's just my opinion. But I think that Pereira, he looked like his old self too, but he can only play one half. I think also efficiently, and I think Oscars knows that, and that's why he did those three with Pereira first as a left wing, but then it will end up kind of like this in transition of the game. What are your thoughts regarding Facu Torres's performance?
I think the I think you're right about Pereira coming back in. I think he did have a good half. I think
Yeah,
we know he can play the 10 very well when he's fit and he's got energy. Agreed. I think the issue I have with putting Faku back out on the wing is what happens when Mauricio comes off at 45 or Mauricio gets injured again in the future. And then, we want to bring Torres and play him back at the 10, but then he's been playing as a winger. I think there's a certain amount of what we were talking about earlier in the season where you're slightly confusing things by changing the roles and moving them around. Like whoever plays that 10 in the system is like the center of all of the attack. And I think Mauricio does it very, very well. But we've also seen the last like 3 or 4 games that Torres was starting to develop that as well. And then so then you put Torres back out on the wing, and for me, he was still playing a lot of the positions, like coming in on the 10 and doing a lot of, things as if he was playing the 10, even though he was the winger in this game. And I personally feel like we should keep these guys in the same roles. And I think that's
right.
the issue with having Pereira in the 10 is that we can't rely on it for 90 minutes every game because
No,
he doesn't have that in the locker anymore. So who is playing the 10 when Pereira comes off or can't play? In this game, what happened was Ojeda actually ended up playing there
yeah,
later in the game, and Faku
yeah,
was
that's
still
right.
out on the right wing.
Yeah, he felt more
Um,
comfortable there. Absolutely.
yeah, and so I don't know whether Oscar said, I'm going to put Faku in the 10 while Pereira's out, and then you're going to go back on the wing, whether Torres was supposed to be playing the 10, and this game he didn't want to play Ojeda, so he put Torres back out on the wing. I don't know, but
I have
I think the issue is there's no you're potentially confusing Faku as to what you're asking him to do. Like, do we want him to be the creative outlet and the main guy that the team runs around, or do you want him to be a winger who cuts in on his left foot and takes shots? Like yes, there's some interchanging between those roles, and yes, some of them do a little bit of everything, but also that 10 role is so vital that I think he's getting a little confused with all of this playing different positions and moving around. I mean, do you feel a
I
similar way?
feel I feel like Oscar put Torres there and because he knows Smith, it's a player that it's he won't be able he's not a win back. And so he's more static. So he will do his role as a back, and then he ain't gonna go and try to dribble everybody.
But
Even though yes,
in this game, he was a
in this
wing
game, even
back.
right, even though in this game it was, but he probably thought, you know what? Here we already have Araujo right there. Okay, he's gonna do a little bit, take a little bit of the ball away from Atlanta, and then I'm gonna put because I have Etienne, a very gifted, fast, speedy player. Sosa, very good with its feet, and Gottman, also very good, very like big and kind of muscle through, overpowers by muscle more than anything. But one thing that those two guys don't have, Gottman or Sosa, is that 1v1 ability Facundo has. So he probably thought, let me put a player of that caliber, because on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have Santos kind of, we've seen Santos going to, trying to do the win back, and he can't come back to defend. So he maybe put Angulo there, or maybe Mauri, to kind of pace him.
This might
And
be controversial. I don't actually think Faku is that good at dribbling around guys. I don't think that's actually what he does best. And if you notice, a lot of the time now, he's like not attempting to go around guys. He's just looking for the pass.
that's right. Yeah, well,
And like there was a few times at the end of the game where he tried to switch it up and use his right foot and actually drive up the right wing, and he just got knocked out of bounds. So I understand what you're saying, but I think this season we haven't seen that same Faku being able to go around a guy. Like
no.
Angulo is beating more guys on
Yeah,
the wing.
Angulo's been more guys. Yeah.
Ojeda's beating more guys on the wing than Faku is. So is there much benefit? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, is Faku's strengths this season actually playing that, or is it because we've been getting him to be more of a passer? Is it now in his frame of mind of pass, don't try and take a guy on?
Yeah, I think also he just rather look for the pass. That's just my opinion too. Because he's avoiding the contact. I don't know if he's afraid of getting injured, of getting time off, but he's a little bit afraid of getting the
I
contact.
noticed that people come in, he's quick to look for the
Right,
ball to lay
yeah,
it off
that's
instead
right.
of trying to like. And also the
And
other
he
thing I don't see him do is ever make a back turn. Like whenever the ball
right,
is here, it's all everything in front of him. I never see him twist on the spot like he did a lot last year and
right.
quickly turn and change the whole direction of the game by opening his body up the other way, which actually Mauricio does all the time. So that's something that Mauricio is bringing in that 10 role that Faku doesn't always do.
There you go. Let's read some more comments. It says, Jim D. We need Mikey back to make that overlap to free up Faku. Defense is fine, just clogging the middle and waiting for him to cut inside to his left foot. They know he's not making a run to the byline. There you go. Good observation. Daniel Phillips. John makes a great point about we're asking of Faku. He's still a very young man growing into his talent. That's right. Yeah, I mean, he's still a pretty young man, but I mean, he's a $13 million guy, right? So, I mean, again, I feel like we still need that extra. He needs a Scottie Pippen. You know what I mean? He needs that, or either he be the Scottie Pippen, and then there'll be we need a Jordan. You know what I mean? So, either one of the two. I don't know if that's a bad analogy. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's
Probably.
also what we're expecting of Faku, right? I think that's,
Right. He can be Nani, guys. He
if
has
he's
not even won a Champions League.
if he turns into the 10, like he could end up being one of the best, central attack. Like he could be like a Carlos Gil for us, right? And then you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, the guy's an assist merchant. He doesn't need to score goals. But I think because last year we saw him go around guys and put in great curlers into the back, corner of the net all the time. This year we're not seeing that. Everybody's saying, where is that? Well, when he's
Right.
supposed to be playing the 10, in my opinion, that's not what he's supposed to be doing anyway. Right? That's like on Ojeda or on Gulo to do. So maybe that has something to do with it. Why people are thinking Torres is not doing stuff. Maybe this year that's not what he's being asked to do.
Oh no, you're right. You're completely right. We're gonna. Joshua Tall says, "What do you think we will have to do to do versus New York Red Bulls to win?" Okay, so let's dive into Red Bulls land. Before, I want to ask everyone to drop us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate that. There's going to be a link on the description of the audio on Spotify or Apple Podcasts of all our social media. Follow us and stay in touch. We like to keep in touch with everybody. We also have a Discord group. You guys are more than welcome to join. I'm going to be sending the invite right now as a comment here on YouTube. So feel free to join. We can talk OTSC all day long. so, uh, to me, new Red Bulls, they're coming from a loss against Seattle. But one thing I did notice is that their back line is actually doing really good. They had a really good, solid performance. You know that Seattle Sounders, it's not just any team. And they were able to, contain and contain them right here. For example, you could see Harper, Dam, and Nealis. They all had a fantastic game. Nealis with the other Nealis. They're two Nealis apparently. Man, that's tough. And then also their two in the back, which are their Cesar Araujo and their Wilder, had a great game too. Cáceres and Stroud. Now, both of them had good games against Orlando. I will say, I'm sorry, I thought I put the image. See Cáceres and Stroud. I think we need to definitely play a similar game as we did against Atlanta. Stay compact, but they're a team that is struggling in the league, but they're looking much better than when they had their former coach. Barlow is playing the wing, and then Van Zier. He also is looking in better shape. What are your expectations out of this game, John? I think we got to win this one away.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know what to expect from Red Bulls. They're still going to be a high press team. That hasn't changed since Struper's gone. Their press has changed a little bit, but it's still their whole thing. So you know, I don't. I think John Tolkien is now playing left wing for them instead of left back. He was always causing us problems last game.
Yep.
I call him the Hobbit for obvious reasons. I think that they are. I think Yearwood playing as a center attacking midfielder is a very strange decision. I don't know what that's about. He's definitely a defensive midfielder. I think they have some strength, but with any team that's going to be coming at you as aggressively on the press that they are, there's going to be opportunities in behind. I think you're right. I think we do need to be like the Atlanta game. We need to be aggressive and we need to attack, but we need to be wary of the counterattack. And that's something we did very well against Atlanta. Let's bring that straight into this game. And I play a similar way because they will be pretty pressing. They'll probably do more of like a counter press, I imagine, and let us attack and then try and hit us on the counter with a quick press. But then it's on us to win the ball back again quickly and keep the pressure on. Because in those turnovers, as we've seen, that has been a problem for us this season. The counter press when we have too high a line and we're getting beat in behind our defenders. So that's something we need to watch out with. It'll be interesting to see the players' reactions to Van Zier as well after everything that happened with him, and hopefully that's all good now. But it's interesting to see him back in the MLS lineups.
That's right. Joshua Tall says, this is my favorite Orlando City podcast. Thank you, Joshua. Appreciate that. Joshua Tall, do you think Ojeda should start next game? That's a good question.
We're going to do the lineup in a minute, right?
Yeah, we'll do the lineup right now. We'll do in the lineup. Jim D, not to mention they play for Loserdale tomorrow night. Oh, all right.
Yeah, so they should be a little tired, hopefully, because that's the other thing I was going to mention. They fired Struber on the 8th of May, and then they beat DC in the Open Cup, and then since the 13th of May, they beat the Redbulls. Sorry, they beat NYCFC. Then the 17th of May, they drew to Toronto. Then the 20th of May, then the 23rd of May, they got knocked out of the Open Cup. Then the 27th, they have played a game like Wednesday, Saturday for like almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then they're playing again. And for a pressing team, like you got to hope that a lot of their team is tired or needs to be rotated. So I think that could be an advantage for us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we should definitely capitalize on that. You know what I mean? Like finally this game, there's gonna be chances, there's gonna be spaces that they're gonna give us. We need to capitalize on those. Keep also pressing, because Cartagena and Araujo did a lot of the pressing against Atlanta. And again, these are, in my opinion, a better midfield than Atlanta's. Now, when it comes to recouping the ball, very similar style as Orlando's. But both Cáceres and the other gentleman, I forgot his name. No, not Tiago Almada. You're talking about Stroud and Cáceres, very similar pairing as Araujo and Cartagena. So I would definitely say that they both of them need to be in their A game, because even though, yes, they're not maybe a star-studded Red Bulls team, they know how to play collectively very well, especially off the counter, and they already put goals away from us. So let's keep the faith on this game. Now, the starting lineup
They also
for,
have Duncan out as well, I noticed, and
yeah,
he's kind of a vital player. Remember last time we played them, he was in
yeah.
that game earlier in the season. He did very well on the wing. So yeah, more injuries, please, before our
Well,
game.
you
That would be
have
great.
you didn't like Enrique on the wing?
Oh, in
What's his
this
name?
game for Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, also, I don't know if you noticed. Remember last time, and I was joking about Duncan McGuire playing his left wing.
yeah.
Did you notice at one point in the game he went way back to help out Santos and made a tackle, and then like made a whole run all the way up the left wing as if he was a left winger? I said, "See, he can do it, Luis. I
He can
called
do
it.
it. He can do it all. He can do it all.
There's no limits on the abilities of Duncan McGuire. This
Oh
has
man,
been this is the way we know it."
yeah. So let's start on Pedro Galese, right? I mean, so he's definitely going to be our number one, and I'll say the back four is going to stay. What are your thoughts regarding that?
I agree. And I think again, Santos had a good game. I
Yeah.
think when the subs came on, I noticed him starting to have some issues with Miguel Berry and Chol. But up until Atlanta made those changes, he kept them in check very well and was being helped out by Angulo on that left side. I think that's why Oscar likes Angulo on whatever wing he feels
That's right.
the fullback needs help, because Angulo will run back and help the fullback, and whoever's on the other wing, whether that's Ojeda or Torres, is not going to do that. So maybe that's a lot of reasoning as to
Yeah.
why we see Angulo constantly get a spot on those wings over the other guys, because he's doing that defensive work.
So we're gonna see Angulo, correct? We're gonna see. I'll say here, we Oscar made the side of having Ojeda again, Ojeda and Facu.
I think in that last game, Ojeda earlier could have changed things because he's so
That's right.
direct. And I think we
Yeah.
were doing a little bit of that, like, let's just keep the ball around and pass and pass and pass and never actually be that direct and be. Whereas Ojeda is the guy who, like, when he came on and he always had that shot and he has a couple runs, like he can be a game changer off the bench, yes,
So you
but
will
it
put.
needs to be earlier off the bench if he's coming off the bench,
Right, so you will
or
put him
start
as a.
him.
You put him as a 10 or as a wing, Ojeda.
I'm not sure about Ojeda as the 10. I
Yeah.
don't think he looked good in that
Yeah.
role. I
Yeah.
think if Ojeda's playing anywhere, he needs to be playing that right hand wing, cutting in on his left foot. I think that's what he
Yeah.
knows. That's what he does. Let him do that.
And I
I mean,
think
I think
we'll.
this is me. I think Oscar's going to put. I think we're going to see the exact same lineup.
Pereira. Yeah, there's a possibility that we may see the same lineup. But if I be honest, and I don't know if he's watching, but Profe, with all due respect, I know you know more than me. I know that playing the MLS, you've coached top level talent. I'm just a guy here talking, but I would definitely hold Pereira for the second half, and I feel like Ojeda, like John was saying, he can probably be that immediate impact and can maybe put one away. And because I have a feeling that in this game is going to be very choppy, and the first one who scores, then is going to be very friction. But or it could also be that whoever scores first, and the floodgates will open, right? Because Red Bulls, after Seattle scored, Seattle kept going, 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 and their defense really worked, and they kept the one
Yeah.
nil deficit, but it could have been worse for them. Now I have a feeling that I would like Ojeda to start with Facu and Angulo up three. No, I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding that?
I agree with that. I mean, I think me and you are on the same page that we feel like Faku should be playing the 10 because you're going to get more out of him there, like over time, I think, than you are with Pereira. So the issue is relying on Pereira week in, week out, right? So, and when he isn't, who's playing that 10? We don't have someone else who goes in there apart from Faku, really, you know? So I think we should be doing this. Whether whether Oscar thinks that or not
Right,
remains to be seen, right? We saw Mauricio out because he was injured, not because he got dropped.
right.
So do we now think Mauricio is going to be the number 10 again? And that, in which case Ojeda is missing out, who, like we talked about, should potentially be on the field. And then you're dropping Angulo, who has, been very good too. And like I said, does that defensive work that the other guys aren't doing. So it's tough. It's a tough
Yeah,
decision for him, but he
yeah.
needs to, in my opinion, from the beginning of the season, there would have been a plan as to where these guys are playing. So either that's changed or, the plan was always to move them around, in which case I don't understand that personally.
And then I want
But
and I
for the
want to
rest of the
add.
season, who's going to play the 10? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I want to add the ability of interchanging positions that you saw against Atlanta between Mauricio, Facundo, and Angulo. You could see it also with these three here. And now, why Ojeda? Because Ojeda gives you shot from distance. It kind of has a little bit more weapons in his arsenal.
The other guys are trying to dribble it all the way into the box. Ojeda's
Correct,
quite happy to rip one from 30 yards.
correct. And he's been so close that I have a feeling that in this game he could score the goal of the week, and hopefully, when
I
I
mean,
go
it's coming. One of these days, he is going to
Huh,
hit one of those. It's going to go top corner,
right.
and we're all going to go crazy.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like we could see it. Orlando recoups the ball. Cartagena recoups the ball, goes in transition. Facu cuts to the cuts to the right, and then Ojeda cuts to the left. Then Ojeda becomes the 10. Facu is the right wing, and then you have Angula speeding through, right? And so you could see that those three could interchange, and then now
And I think Oscar knows that. I think that's true. But I think
right,
roles don't interchange, right? Positionally, they
right.
might move around,
Position,
but
yeah.
who's supposed to be doing what, as in your role in the buildup of the play, that shouldn't be changing, in my opinion.
Correct.
Also, for this game, I wouldn't be mad if Duncan got the start.
Yeah,
And
me
I'll
neither.
tell you why. He scored his first ever goal. I'm pretty sure it was against this
The Red
team in
Bull.
that first game, right? Am I wrong? No, it was the Faku. It was the Faku penalty. I stand corrected. But he did play in this game, and he did as his first start, I believe. And I remember having a very good game. The other thing is that they are going to press us, so we kind of have to press them back. And I think Duncan brings you that. Like, it ends at the Atlanta game when we were kind of sitting back
Yeah,
and
he's
we're a
more
little bit, we
defensive
looked a little bit
minded.
more nervous. He was the only guy chasing down the ball, chasing the
Correct.
goalkeeper, and that for me in a game like this is invaluable. And as much as Carr is banging in the goals, he's not running for every ball. He's not pressing the back line. So I think there's an argument to say Duncan should maybe get a start here. And also,
Yeah, yeah.
Carr last game wasn't as good as the other games. Like, I don't think he got maybe they just didn't give him as much chances. I
No,
don't know, but he didn't seem to get as many chances, whether that was
he was
him not
being
being
he
in the
was
right
being
positions or them not feeding him the ball. I don't know.
no, I just feel he was really marked very well by Robinson and
You
Purata.
just marked him out of the game. That's
Yeah,
fair.
marked them
Yeah,
out of the game, just like we did with Thiago Almada. So they were marked.
sure,
They were like, okay, their top striker is,
sure.
their top striker is
But also,
The Austrian
Duncan is
Terminator.
in hot form too, right? We got two hot form strikers. And
Correct.
just like you're going to change your wingers and your fullbacks based on opposition, you can totally do that with your strikers too. So I
And
wouldn't
there's
be mad at a Duncan start for this one.
and the cool thing about it is there's more tape available from Kara and less tape available from Duncan. If you think about it, so that in itself as a strategy, it's a tactical strategy, it would work, like you said, because if they are going to start pressing forward, Duncan could serve as another midfielder that will help Faku. Then maybe they can change roles, and Faku becomes like that striker, like and maybe he can even assist Faku in a goal, right? We've seen that happen. So I think it's a great idea, and I like the way that Duncan is. It's a worker, man. Like this dude is like, look, Cartagena just lost the ball. Let me go, try to help him out, right? Oh, Angulo lost the ball. Hey, let me go and help him out.
But
I
I think
yeah,
it's just starting that press, like everybody like that first striker, if they're pressing and being aggressive on the front foot, Angulo and Ojeda and Faku can follow up and get out, right? When you're being penned in like that, the press starts from your striker. And so if he gets out, then we all get out and we get out of our half a little bit and we're able to kind of repress back onto New York because that's what they're constantly going to be doing to us.
yeah. We have some pictures from Urgent Cara right there. Look, like you can see the people there. Look, if you see yourself, let us know. Look at that. Kara, two key passes, 86% of their passes completed, 17 touches, and was fouled 3 times. This is their heat map. I don't know what he was doing right here in the middle, but
I think that's
you
the
know,
kickoff.
yeah, that's the kickoff. But then he was like, his usual self right here. And then we also have Ivan Angulo. You know, he had a great game overall. Don't forget to follow real Ryan Jensen. Um, look how he ate that left wing, man. He did the whole damn job. And look at that.
See, Gutman is strong, but he's not necessarily that fast, right?
He's
So
not
that's
that
where
fast.
Angulo has, whenever it's a fullback that's
Yeah,
like just a little bit flat footed, Angulo is going to be able to do that
yeah.
to them all day long. And like, I enjoyed him making Gutman look silly.
He had a 4 out of 4 dribbles completed. He had 82% passes completed. Great performance. 41 touches. He was one of the top players that touched the ball the most. So happy for the performance against Atlanta, and then let's hope that it's an Orlando win. I feel Orlando will put it on the bag, a 3-1 win. Brace, or maybe we're talking the first hat trick of Duncan McGuire. I'll go for the hat trick. What about you,
Hat trick.
Joe?
Oh my God.
Of
Paulo's
the
going to be so excited.
Yeah, you're gonna go and just be like, hey, I want a Duncan jersey.
Oh, immediately. If he scores a
Save
hat
me
trick,
one.
I'm getting a. You can heard that here on the podcast, and I will prove that in real life if it happens. Yeah, it's hard to say on this one. I think we need to show the same defensive strength we did against Miami and against Atlanta. I think against Miami, it was a question of, okay, did they really do that much to, attack us? Atlanta, we definitely saw that back four have a strong game, shutting down a lot of their attack, really not letting them do much at all in that game. So if we're able to do that again against New York and we're able to be a little bit more clinical in the final third, then I can see 3-1 being very, very likely. In fact, I think we can keep them out.
Yeah,
I think a 2-0. I'm gonna go
2-0.
2-0.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
2-0 with a Ojeda and a Duncan McGuire goal. That's my prediction.
that's fantastic. I agree with you. And We'll read some comments in just a moment, but we want to switch gears to a win. Yes, an Orlando City B win. Thank you to the MLS Next Pro for the footage. I will play right now.
The young Lions showing the older Lions how to go beat the Red Bulls.
There you go. Look at that. Jack Lynn is on fire, man. And Shaq Muhammad with his first goal, right? You know, first, yeah, it was their first professional goal in the match. Imagine, right? Um, there you go.
And we are underway to bring match day.
There you go. This is Jack Lynn right there. I like the way they're so good with the ball, man. Like look at that, look at that one touch right there. Oh, that was a phenomenal play. He was just there. That's clinical right there, man. That is,
and that's 4 minutes in.
man.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
that's
Like
look at that.
they're straight off to the races.
And Shaq Moises Tablante, what a player, man. Look at that. Boom.
Is Freeman getting involved again?
Yeah.
What a header.
Man, Freeman needs to have some minutes,
Yeah.
man. And then you got the little Red Bulls right there, the little baby bulls. Yeah. Oh man, nice.
Look at this.
Oh, Kibunchi got
That guy
Kibunchi got
a good goal from
man.
New York there.
That's a great goal by New York right there, huh?
Also in this one, there
know?
was no Juninho.
No Juninho, yeah, no Juninho.
I know he
was in the
in the
game.
midfield. They had Thomas Williams.
Wilfredo looked great.
Alex Freeman is showing on that he was playing midfield as well. I don't think that's correct. I think they've got that wrong.
Look at that free kick. You got Javier Otero. What a beast. Let's see. Oh, impossible. That was impossible. What a goal. What is he? What is he?
I don't know if that's impossible. I think the goal. I think Otero should have been a bit more in the center of the net for that one.
But quick question: Who is he doing this to? There's like
he's doing the Cara.
His parents.
Well,
the
wall doesn't jump, and he's a little bit too far. He needs to be a bit more in the center.
Unbelievable.
I think we could have stopped that one.
Great goal by the Red Bulls for sure. Great goal by the Red Bulls, and then there you go. Oh man, look at that play. Oh man, that keeper should. Oh man,
Jacqueline, he's just clinical.
Yeah,
the keeper committed there, and it's a really nice little layoff from Shaq Mohammed. Though he picks the ball and just knocks it to the side to give Jacqueline that opportunity to put it in on the awareness to know that the goalkeepers come all the way out there. You know, why would you do that as a goalkeeper? It's a very strange decision.
Here you go. I think this is Shaq's goal. Here you go. And
the 3-2 winner.
Oof.
Oh
man. That's not a handball. That's a goal. There you go.
I thought he was going to hit it on the volley.
Yeah, but they should have defended better than
they let him bring it down, and it bounces, and then he gets a chance to put it in. So, but you can see what it means to him. He's
good for him.
Down on his knees, and he hasn't been getting a huge amount of starts this year for OCB. He was one that we thought we were going to see in and around the first team, like getting brought off the bench. Like we see Enrique getting brought off the bench for the wing. I thought he was going to see some minutes this year.
Well,
so it's nice for him that he's now getting some OCB minutes because he hasn't been doing a lot this season for them when we, like you said, we expected.
Well, what a comeback!
Him to be a big player.
I would say a comeback, great comeback by the young Lions.
But they're very hard to beat at home.
Yeah.
Unlike Orlando City, OCB have made Osceola a fortress to be reckoned with. Yeah,
one day we gotta. So they could use first team players to play the final too, right? I heard. Is that true?
No, surely not. That would just be ridiculous.
You get Faku there. They get Kara. Wow. No, I'm just teasing, guys. And then on not so great news, the Pride lost, unfortunately, against Chicago. But again, this team is a young squad. Still, you know, you have to say a little bit of not putting the ball away too. Like, look at that chance right there. Carriabello getting the start. Messiah Bright
And
right there.
this is the first loss for them
Yeah,
since
Sins. Yep.
April. So since they started the season with some losses and a draws, they've gone after they beat the San Diego Wave in April. They've been on a bit of a tear. They lost in the NWSL Challenge Cup, but in the league they've been unbeaten with mainly wins and a draw. So this was the first loss in a while. I think that they won't be deterred. They're definitely looking better than last year and
Yeah,
better
for
than a
sure.
number of years that we've seen the Pride. Right, they're off the bottom of the table. They're up in ninth. It's good. It's an improvement. I think Adriana is a really exciting player.
Yeah,
Every time I
Adriana.
watch her, I'm like, wow, like what she can do things, and she's bringing Marta into the game a lot. I think you're
Oof.
totally right about Messiah Bright. I think she is
Uh,
probably
she's
uh,
gonna be a national team, in my
she
opinion.
she looks like she has massive potential. Physically, she's a real struggle for some of these defenders to deal with,
Yeah.
and she's fast and she gets in good positions and she can head. Like, she's an ultimate number 9, and she can do a bit of everything. Carriabello is having
Carol is
some
great.
great
Uh,
games. I think the back line, like with Kylie Strom and
yeah.
I think Morehouse is looking better and better. Right, we've had like some
Julie Dole
stars.
came back.
We've
I
had
was
some
so happy
players
about that.
starting to shine in the squad. Some people that,
Yeah.
yeah, Julie Doyle's back. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
positives to the Pride.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I don't
positives.
think they'll be deterred by a 1-0 loss away at a very, a hard place to go.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, the home side took the early lead with Casey Kruger, assisted by Yuki Nagasato, and then after that, it was chance after chance for the Pride. I think the Pride were the better team.
yeah.
They haven't
I mean,
lost. They haven't lost since April 2nd. So
Chicago are below them in the table, so maybe
yeah,
maybe Seb's looking at as like we should have been able to get a draw or a win out of that one.
correct.
But I don't want them to drop their heads. I don't want them to
Mm.
disrail this great
No,
progress
no, they're
we've seen.
doing
Like
fantastic.
this last run of games we've seen from the Pride. Like, if I sort the table by last 5 matches and form, we're number 2 in the table.
True.
So
Also, this
that
is the
shows they're
match.
on the right project and the right path. So I'm really happy for them. And
Yeah, they
I
are.
personally need to go to more Pride games.
Yeah,
Um, so I think everybody should go check them out this season, even if it's just one time. If you're an Orlando City fan, it's super cheap. It's super fun. You know what's awesome for the Pride? I highly recommend going in the West Club. If you've always been like, oh, I want to check out the West Club, go to the West Club for Orlando Pride game. It's like there's not that many people there. There's plenty of food. It's a really nice experience, and the tickets not that expensive. So um, I can only encourage everybody to go to a Pride game because I will be going to more this season.
yeah, same. Definitely the Pride are making good strides, and they look better with this young squad than they've looked in a long time. Marta, with the start of against Chicago, she pretty much tied Ashlyn Harris and Tony Presley for most regular season appearances in Pride Club history. Also, the Pride in this game, 19 shots on goal. 19 shots. It was one of the most. They was shooting the ball up and down. Unfortunately, it wasn't converting into goals, right? And Erica Timrak got a little knock. Hopefully, she's okay. Erica Timrak has been a vital part of the midfield and the attack of Orlando Pride. So hopefully, she's good. But again, they're gonna face a Houston Dash. They're gonna face Peterson. which was one of my favorite players last season. And she's now playing for Houston Dash at 8:30 on Saturday, June 3rd. So go and support the Pride. Francis W, great idea, John. I'll have to try the West Coast for a Pride match. Yeah. How you doing, Francis? Good to see you. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love the Pride. I started actually when I started with Area Sports. Started covering the Pride with and then eventually I moved up to cover Orlando City. So I have a lot of love for Orlando Pride, and I'll encourage everyone to go and support, even if it's like with the Black Swans or around anywhere. Just go and support. It's going to be great. They won't disappoint, and then if you have memorabilia, they'll sign it for you. Like, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're fantastic players, human beings. So
It has that minor league small club vibe
yeah,
still, right?
kind of
Like,
like USL style.
yeah, if you miss that from the Orlando City USL days, which I often do, how tight everybody
Right,
was,
yeah,
and
I
it was a
remember.
niche group of fans, right? That you kind of lose when you expand, but the Pride still has that. I also say go check out an OCB game, because
Yeah.
they're obviously, as you can see, they exciting games. They're winning at home. Go down to Osceola one time. It's like
Yeah.
$10 to see an OCB game. You'll literally
Yeah,
be like right
I'm
on the
thinking of
edge. You
going to
can
the one
you
against
you
Inter.
can reach out and touch Jacqueline on the shoulder and ask him for an autograph. So I highly encourage everybody to check out OCB games at one time.
I'm not allowed to touch him, you know. Joshua Tall, a 3 win for Orlando City would be great. There you go. But other than that, we expect to have a really good game against the new Red Bulls. I'm very confident. Now tomorrow, 10 p.m. I think it's 10 p.m. Um, Leon versus LAFC, CONCACAF Champions League, the final, the first leg of the
Who's
final.
not in the final?
Who?
Tigres.
I know, right?
I was so happy
so
when they got knocked out. I was like,
yeah.
justice for Orlando
So
City.
let's. I'm gonna root for LAFC. I'm gonna root for LAFC. I want the MLS to win, uh, and I want a new dominant league in North America to be the MLS, right? The new dominant league. So I know that the MLS can do it. So we'll give my full support to LAFC tomorrow. And guys, we will see you guys next week for more Orlando City news. Anything you want to add, John?
Yeah, I do actually. I am going to there is an event. I'm very intrigued by what this is. We were invited as members of the supporters section to go to an event at the Broken Strings on Thursday, where we're going to
Oh,
hear from some members of the club staff, and we're going to hear from some supporter groups who are going to be there recruiting the ILF and Ruckus. So anybody who's going to that, come over and say hi. I'm just as friendly in real life, I swear. And I would love to meet you and chat with you and talk Orlando City. So yeah,
I
and
can come
it'd be
and
interesting.
sign
I'm
up.
intrigued to see what the club hasn't done something like this in a long time.
Is media allowed?
Um, I don't know whether media is allowed. You have to ask that one. I think it's fans only. So not for
Hmm.
you, buddy. Sorry. No, it's specifically only the supporters
No
section.
soup for you.
So it's the wall. It's the wall fans, not all the fans.
No, that's great. That's
So
great.
I
That's
think they're trying to do it to help encourage people to sign
Of
up for
course.
the supporter groups, which is great. Like the
That's a
club
great
helping the
idea.
supporter groups, I'm all about that. But we have a chance to ask some questions. So I'm going to put it on Twitter later in the week, what questions anybody has, and then I'll pick out some that I really like, as well as one that I'll be asking myself. So it should be interesting. And if not, I'll have a couple beers and get to meet some Orlando City fans.
Uh,
So that'll be great.
and then the wall had a new chant too, right?
The
Did
wall
they?
has been working on some
Yeah,
chants. Yeah.
yeah, that new chants. Maybe we'll
The,
get
the
the
full
little.
90, which is quite
That's right.
ironic.
That's right. So, so yeah.
We could
That's
sing
right.
the full 90, but we're not quite playing the full 90 at the moment.
That's right. Yeah, no, we're not. We're not doing that. But I want to thank everyone, Francis, Joshua, also Jim D, as well as Daniel, everyone, Ryan as well for all the pictures. He's going to be working with us more often, Ryan. So we're very happy to have him on board here at a part of LPO. And we'll see you guys next week. And vamos Orlando. Take care, guys.
Vamos, Orlando.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.